Welcome to the DBB Newsroom. I am Myat. In our newsroom today is Kim Aris, the son of imprisoned Myanmar political leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Hello, Kim. Welcome to our newsroom.
Thank you for having me.
I remember the time I met you in 2010 at NAD headquarters, and I asked you to get interview from you, and you answered me that your mom doesn't allow you to speak to media. But today, you broke your silence to raise awareness for your mother. And in one interview, I read that you are extremely worried about your mom's health. And can you tell us about your mom's situation in the prison today?
I still don't know that much about her, the conditions under which she's been held, other than that they're probably not the best. I think that she's still got ongoing health problems, including problems with her teeth. And I know from my own problems with my teeth that that can be agony. If she's not able to receive the treatment that she needs, it'll have an effect on her being able to eat without a lot of pain. Whilst I don't have any news that anybody else is able to get, I do know that Sean Turnell's account of his time in prison was not, well, it's pretty horrendous, the conditions which they're being held. And my mother's never accepted any preferential treatment. So I can imagine that the conditions are terrible.
Before 2010, she was under house arrest for 15 years. And at the lake house, the property of your grandmother. So you've been there together with her for some times, right? So today, the property of your grandmother, regard to that properties, the Yangon District Authority decided to auction that property in March. So how do you feel about that decision? And did you hear any response from your mother regarding this?
No, I've heard no response from my mother, but given her past involvement with that property, and I know that this is an ongoing dispute between her and her brother, that really, according to Burmese law, my uncle doesn't actually have any right to any property in Burma since he's an American citizen. And I know my mother wanted to use that property for purposes of her charities that she's set up over the years. Hopefully that will still be able to happen. I know that if it gets sold at this time, then when the country gets returned to democratic rule, it's unlikely that that sale will be upheld. So it's be interesting to see what happens there.
At the same time, you're here, outside of the country, you're also taking part in the fundraising activities together with some people from Myanmar living in other country. So can you please explain about your participation in some kind of fundraising activities and how much you have contributed to Burmese people, people from Burma inside the country through your fundraising activities? How much you have achieved through that fundraising campaigns?
In 2022, I was involved in Project Sanye, which was a great effort. That managed to raise $1.7 million or thereabouts. And then last year we set up the Freedom Tattoo campaign. And so far that has raised around £100,000. It's been great being able to work with fundraisers all around the world, different Burmese fundraisers in countries such as Australia, the Netherlands, America, different places in Southeast Asia. And they've all managed to work together on this for purely humanitarian aid, which is desperately needed still and will be for the foreseeable future. So we will be keeping the Freedom Tattoo campaign open on GoFundMe for the foreseeable future.
Great. So you have raised a lot of funding for the people from Burma, and then it's Yes, please.
Sorry, we're starting to distribute it to the people on the ground who are able to get it to where it's needed most. So hopefully the most recent campaigns funds will get to see, people will see the benefit from it very soon. Whereas Project Sanye has already been distributed. So we know that many people have benefited from that. And I hope that we've saved many lives, because at the moment, as little as £5 can feed a family for, a week or thereabouts. So every little bit counts.
Congratulations for that. And also, how do you see the prospect of Myanmar Spring Revolution today?
Well, we always see that the military are continually losing ground and are resorting to more and more desperate tactics to try and stay in power. The most recent of these being the enforced conscription. And now thousands of young Burmese are fleeing over the border, well, thousands more than already were. And the situation is getting worse and worse for people on the ground there at the moment. So humanitarian aid will be needed more now than it has been for decades.
So you see dangers and threats of the recent conscription laws against the young Burmese people, and how that will affect, especially it's creating more conflict in the country or along the border? How do you find it?
Well, they'll be using these young conscripts for the worst jobs, such as minesweeping, and they'll be pushed to the front where they have every chance of dying, and they're being forced to kill their own people. So obviously, thousands are fleeing from having to do that. And the people who have been sitting on the fence in the past won't be able to sit on the fence, because they're being forced to make a choice of either being arrested for not joining up or fleeing, or joining up and killing their own people.
Yeah, it's true. And also, like you, the millions of people from Burma are waiting to hear any news about your mom. Do you want to convey any message to the people of Burma on behalf of your mom, and also for the political prisoner, families of political prisoners? Is there any message, or encouragement to those people?
I can only say that we need to stay strong, and it's hard to be separated from our families and our loved ones, but this is an ongoing battle that has been fought for decades, and this is just the next stage in it. Hopefully we will get to that point where we can all reunite, and it will be amazing when I'll be able to come back to Burma and see my mother. And I hope everybody else will be able to do likewise with their families soon.
That will be the first thing you will do. You will come straight to Burma to see your mom. And
as soon as I'm able to see my mother, I'll be there.
Great. And then how do you think your mom will do first thing if she will be released from the prisons?
I can't say. I don't know, whether she'll have a home to come out to. If the house in University Avenue is auctioned off, then she won't actually have any property in Burma. Since the property she was staying in Naypyidaw wasn't her own, it was government property, she'll be left with nothing. So I don't know whether she'll be able to stay in Burma or whether she might want to leave. I somehow think she will end up staying in Burma and trying to help rebuild the country.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. We wish all the best for your reunion with your mom, and also we are very much looking forward to seeing this good news anytime in the future. Thank you for joining us today.
Not at all, thank you.